Hey guys, Indy Mouse here with a video that isn't about Dark Souls. What? Stop. No, what are you guys gotta stop right now. Look, after talking about Dark Souls waifus for about 16 minutes, I'm just gonna take a single break from the old Dark Souls if that's alright. And what better subject to talk about than embarrassing games that scared me as a kid. And to be honest with you guys, 90% of these games aren't even horror games. I mean, if you play Silent Hill as a kid, of course it's gonna fuck you up, but some of these games were designed with kids in mind, but there's something a little dark and off-feeling about these ones. Now I'm sure some of you have played them. As usual, I asked on Twitter for some games that scared you guys when you were younger, so we can cover them throughout the video as well, and I'll either agree with you or I'll just present everyone with an opportunity to laugh at you on Twitter. And if you were like me, you were probably easily creeped out as a child, so please do share your own stories down below. I may do a comment reading for this video and just read out all the people's spooky experiences. And speaking of Twitter, be sure to go follow me on Twitter and don't miss out on the Dark Souls ads early, memes, and the opportunity to get into videos like this. That's my sales pitch. We're heading for 10,000 followers by the end of the year. And finally, I've brought my good friend, the talented Pushing Up Roses, on board to share some of her experiences of games that freaked her out as a child. So she'll be in the video somewhere, so stay tuned for that. And let's do it, boys. I got some buttes in here. Don't laugh at me. I know, right? Fucking Toy Story. What a way to start off the list. But firstly, this game was hard as nails. As a kid, I could never beat the level where you play as the RC racer and had to navigate that maze, hitting every battery along the way. I had to rely on my older cousins to help me out. But that's not what I found off about this game. The stage that didn't belong in this game was the level called Nightmare Buzz, which sounds like an awful creepypasta or something. But this is the level where Woody has a nightmare about Buzz and he's a giant version of himself as a boss fight. The level was a lot darker than any other level, and Buzz had this weird glow-in-the-dark look, and the music was incredibly off-putting. I don't remember this fucking scene from the movie where Buzz tries to brutally murder Woody in his nightmares. The way he keeps saying, "Here it comes, here it comes," it's just weird as well. But everything is okay in the end because Woody does this goddamn stupid dance. Here it comes! Believe it or not, the Alone in the Dark games used to be good before they were destroyed and turned off into whatever this is. I understand looking at the older games now, let's just say they haven't held up well. And I know technically it's a horror game, so I've already ruined what I said at the start, but I played this game as a kid and it messed me up. The only thing I remember is starting in the house's attic, and you have to be real quick and cover up the window with a bookshelf and then hurry over to the chest and push it over a trapdoor. See, I didn't know these vital steps as a kid, so I just wandered around the attic like you do, and all of a sudden a dog smashed through the window, and then a weird zombie dude crawled out of the trapdoor. This itself was enough to turn me off the game. Eventually I did get out of the attic, but it's all just a blur from there. I remember finding a sword that was probably the worst weapon I've ever used in a game, and another creepy man jumping out of a closet at some point, but that's the extent to what I played. It was a little too much for baby Indy Mouse. Since then I have watched a full playthrough of the game online, and it actually has a lot of Lovecraftian references, and it was supposed to be the first part in a Call of Cthulhu series, and they just ended up making it their own original franchise. Looks like the old gods got into me early, and that may explain my obsession with them. Thanks a lot, Alone in the Dark. I do appreciate you for destroying me with that goddamn attic. Now, headed back to kids' games that creep me out for no reason at all. The Lion King game on the SNES was another hard as hell game that for some reason had an off feeling about it. Again, not the game as a whole, just certain moments, including this bug that happened in the first level which caused the hyena boss of the level to just bug out and stand there, doing absolutely nothing. If you played the game, you remember that you have to jump down into his boss fight, and I remember it happening on multiple occasions where he wouldn't do anything, he just stood there completely still, and for some reason this just scared the shit out of me as a kid. And that wasn't all though, believe it or not. There's multiple occasions in the Lion King game that creeped me out as a kid. This just sounds absurd saying it out loud. Later on, when you hit that graveyard level with all the bones everywhere, this level always creeped me out as well. Maybe I was just a little bitch, but if anything in this game creeped you out as well, do let me know. Help me feel better about myself. If you played an Oddworld game, I don't really have to explain why these games creeped me out as a kid. They're set in a dark industrial world with creatures that look like this. Features a company that is going to butcher our main hero's race and turn them into ice creams. I don't know what those are. And as much as I love these games today because of how gritty they are, as a kid, they certainly won't know Mario games. Unlike the other games, there's no specific reason or scene that really set me off in this game. It was just the whole thing. Whole thing as a whole. The deaths, the Medokans were weird. Those boss guys with no arms, those were weird. I don't know what the hell they are or what they're supposed to be, but they have no arms, and you could like take over them, control them, and they couldn't do anything. No one could do anything about it. Abe was a freak, and this game was still amazing, but still incredibly weird and disturbing.
Hey everyone, Pushing Up Roses here. The first time I can really remember feeling scared during a video game is when I discovered the Dagger of Amon-Ra, which came on the King's Quest collection released in the 90s. I had never been exposed to scary games growing up. I hated being frightened, and I was the wussiest kid of all time for one, and nobody went out and bought me scary games, so I had no previous experience with them. When I got my King's Quest collection, I was super excited because it included games I'd never played before, Dagger of Amon-Ra included. This game is deceptive. The first act looks incredibly friendly, cartoonish, it has silly humor, and you go around figuring out fairly innocuous puzzles. Poor little me had no idea what was coming. Welp, at the end of the second act, shit gets cray. I found a dead guy stabbed in the chest with a dagger, tongue hanging out, pale, with blood dripping everywhere, stuffed into a sarcophagus, and I thought, nope! I had no idea the game was going to go in that direction, and it scared the everlasting shit out of me. Not to mention the other graphic murder scenes in the game. It took me years before I could even look at that game again, which seems strange now because over time, it became one of my favorites.
The Neverhood was a point-and-click adventure game created completely out of clay. It had a sequel on the PlayStation called Skull Monkeys, but I never had a chance to play that one a lot since I didn't have a PlayStation. I was late to the console party as a kid. And I'm not sure how much of a children's game the Neverhood was supposed to be, but I certainly played it as a kid. I remember walking down this hallway that took, I hate this word, but literally 10 minutes of non-stop walking to get just to the end to pick up a little disc that you needed to complete the game, and then you had to walk 10 minutes back. And there's writing on the wall. Who would read all this? But that's not what scared me as a kid. For some reason, the first-person view sections of the game were things that just felt really off to me. I think mainly because of the transition from a bright, colorful scene with some upbeat music, all of a sudden turned into this. That eerie soundtrack that plays and the emptiness of the world is what really threw me off in this bit. But mainly, honestly, it's just those fucked up sounds in the background. I have no idea what they are. I still have no idea what they are. Why are these sections just so creepy? Or am I just a pussy? That's the poll for today. Use a comment. Oh, I don't know, did anyone play the Neverhood as a kid? Did these sections feel off to you? Or am I crazy? Playing Star Wars games growing up was the highlight of my childhood, and the Jedi Knight games were some of my personal favorites. Dark Forces was a Doom-style first-person shooter released in the mid-90s and was a huge reason I got into playing games as much as I do. But there was this one stage in the game that I always dreaded playing when I was younger, and it was the sewage complex level. Not because it's a dark, gross sewer level, but instead of these things in the water. As soon as I had to trek through the sewage water, I knew these creatures were going to pop up in my face, and even looking back on them today, I don't even question why I found them disturbing. Seriously, just look at these things. This is a kid's Star Wars game. What the heck are these things doing in here? I understand that they're probably supposed to be the thing from A New Hope in the trash compactor, but I've never seen this much of it. This thing is just gross. And actually this whole game just felt really dark and off-putting at times. The cutscenes were a little weird and janky, and that whole clone creating those dark troopers, I don't know, man, this game was weird and dark, and even the Jedi Knight, the follow-up game to this, man, they don't make games like these anymore.
Want some rye? Course you do.
That scene is forever burned into my memory. Most of the titles on this list I can safely look back on and know that they're not actually scary or creepy, but instead an isolated experience that stuck with me when I was young and weak. But Return to Zork, on the other hand, still gives me the fucking creeps. I don't know if it's the weird FMV people throughout the game, or the crow at the start of the game that if you piss it off it instantly kills you and gives you a game over, the disturbing off-putting music in the game, or just all of the above. But if you played this, it probably creeped you out as well. I didn't play this game alone, my mum played it and I just watched, so I guess we can blame her for this disturbing memory. I remember that basically anything you did would cause you to die in some horrific way, and it would end with this maniac laughing at you, then this stained glass game over screen. And I'm pretty sure my mum gave up on this game when we got stuck in some sort of swamp where you had to poke the lily pads in front of you to figure out the safe way to go, but we just never got past it. Also, there's a nice old lady teacher that kills you if you fail her pop quiz. Fuck this world. Now let's head over to Twitter and see what your guys' responses were, some of the games that scared you as a kid. Tunnelman chimes in and says, Ocarina of Time, and he's included a picture, and I never played this as a kid, but I understand. I understand. Jesus. Callum also responded and he said there was a level in this game where you got chased by geese, and that was the scariest shit I've ever seen. And he's got a picture of the Rugrats on the PlayStation. See, I thought The Lion King and Toy Story were bad, but Rugrats? Thank you, Callum. Thank you for making me feel better. My boy Chris says, I think it was a game called Blood. Landed at a friend's house, but in separate rooms, and I shat some bricks. Yes, Blood was incredibly disturbing. I don't think it was supposed to be for children, but I did play that as a kid as well. In that game, you could shoot these people's heads off, and then you can like kick them around and play soccer with them. That game was fucked up. No doubt about it. Lunaria says, holy shit, that moment when you encounter the Butcher for the first time got me real good, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about Diablo here, the first one. Yeah,
Fresh meat.
Bano says, the fucking piano in Mario 64. What are you, scared of a piano, you pussy? Oh, okay, yep. I understand. Thank you for watching, everybody. Remember, leave your own moments down below, and maybe I'll do a comment reading video and reading all your scary childhood traumas, and we can all just enjoy that. This is the first non-Dark Souls video I've done in a very long time, so depending on how it goes, depending on how you guys support this video, will depend on if I ever make another non-Dark Souls video again. So do leave a like, share it around, do those generic YouTube things, but mainly follow me on Twitter. We're heading for 10,000, as you probably know, and I ain't gonna stop shilling until we hit that 10k. Yeah, there's nothing I can rhyme there. And of course, thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys continue to make this possible with the ad revenue as well as your guys' support, so if you ever want to support me, we hit our goal of the ASMR video, like I mentioned before, so that'll be coming next month. And our next goal is a full Dark Souls Doggo song, which I'm dreading a little bit, but we're still a whiles off that, so I think we'll be good for now. And of course, a big thanks to Pushing Up Roses. She recorded this a little while ago, but this video took a lot longer than anticipated. So let's all head over to her channel, give her a sub, and mainly let's go over to her latest Halloween-themed episode and send some mouse love. I don't know what to say. You guys can work it out. I want to head over there and just see your guys' comments throughout the whole section with the word mouse somewhere in there. Until next time, you guys just take it easy. I'm probably gonna head back to Dark Souls now, where I belong. Shit. It's okay, we can still record this. Everything looks fine. Soon think this is gonna stop me? Haven't heard the last from me, babe. Sorry. So as you can see, the system's working perfectly. Sorry.